UV flashlight, and hopefully the gap is filled in under a minute. I would say a couple of minutes. The real test is not filling the gap. The real test is how that material will behave under primer. As you can see, I have sanded the area around the gap on both sides, which means we're going to need to prime it, which we will do. But first, I want to make sure that first of all the material has hardened, and then that the gap is actually filled. Apologies for a cut here. Let me check. I think we need a bit more right here. We'll take a very, very small amount of this material. Tiny amount. A little goes a long way, remember. I'll give it a shot to fill that tiny gap that remains. Let's get the paper towel. Clean my tools. Take care of your tools, and your tools will take care of you. I think that would be really good. Short. I'll give it a light sanding, and I'll see you at the spray booth where I'm going to be priming this area and also this one right here. So we'll be right back. Welcome back to our spray booth. Let's see how this material reacts with plain Vallejo or Vallejo, depending on your pronunciation, surface primer. That's the area we're going to hit. I'm also priming the surrounding area. Let's see what's going on the other side. Whoops. Almost broke something there. Come on. Right, as you can see, we still have a gap. And let's go back to the bench. Welcome back to the bench. As you can see, we still have a smaller gap this time than what we've had previously. And I'm going to fill the rest of it with my trusted Vallejo plastic putty. At least that's the plan. Again, silicone brush, and let's try and squeeze the material in there. At least the gap is smaller. So there has been some improvement time-wise on filling this. Let's move to the starboard side. Good news is that the UV putty has reacted, I would say, satisfactorily with Vallejo's primer. And what we're doing now is trying to feather. There we go. That's more like it. I'm feathering and squeezing at the same time. Let's get ourselves a cotton swab. The more you clean, the rest of this material you'll have to sand once it's cured. There will definitely be some shrinkage, as with all filling materials. And I think here somewhere, I would call that a 50% successful experiment. Has definitely saved time. The UV putty has saved time, and it has definitely shrunk that huge gap that there was between the upper superstructure and the ship's hull, upper hull I should say. But you cannot see, at least I seem not able to escape from this stuff. Anyway, that's better. We're going to leave the putty to dry and we'll be right back. That's port side, starboard side. See, it has already shrunk there. So I'm going to apply more of this material. That's better. Let's see how this one dries up. Silicone brushes, the cheapest ones you can get from a craft store, are sufficient for our purpose, which is trying to shape and convince the putty to cover all, or at least the vast majority of the gap. We'll leave this one to dry and we'll be right back. Just a quick update. I went with another layer of UV putty, and I must say that the results are quite nice. quite nice, quite good, satisfactory at least, both on the port side and, let me turn this around, on the starboard side. As you can see, I've applied the putty with this little tool and leveled it up with the back of a Tamiya hobby blade, not the cutting edge, the back of it, like a spatula. Again, applied the UV radiation with this little flashlight, like so, and we're good to go for another session of priming. We'll be right back. So it took me 2 applications of the UV activated putty and some finishing touches with Vallejo's plastic putty, my favorite material for closing very small gaps. And as you can see, it turned out pretty nicely. Let's check the other side. Nothing to write home about regarding any gaps or any holes that need to be filled. So yeah, it's a quite nice material and I will be using it more often in the future. Will I be replacing traditional modeling putty such as Tamiya, which is quite hard to find these days, or Mr. Hobbies? Probably yes. Probably yes. Will I be replacing Vallejo's plastic putty? This stuff over here? Not really. But quite frankly, it's an interesting material. Its drying time is, I would say, a few seconds once you heat it with a UV torch or with a UV light. Its application is quite easy. You just have to be careful not to leave any material besides the area that you want to fill. It's really hard to sand down, so it's better to wipe it off before you activate it via UV light. So from that point onward, we can continue with our Arleigh Burke build. And besides the UV putty, I was a bit busy. I was working on the bridge windows, as you can see. Forward bridge windows. I'm afraid I wasn't able to paint the vertical spacers, but on the side ones and the rear ones, I think it's looking quite good. And we've got some rigging going on. So this should be placed like so. And we are nearing the build's completion. Come on. Anyway, it should be somewhere there. Yeah, not like that, but something along those lines. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.